Welcome back to Lantern Insights, and the new Marvel set is here. It's on Magic Online, and of course, being a Lantern guy, I wanted to see what's there for Lantern, and the best card in the Marvel set that I could find is a Scientist Supreme, which is honestly not that good. Copying Codex Shredder, kind of useless, because if you mill a good card, you have no idea if the card underneath is going to be good or not. So not a lot there for Scientist. It doesn't copy Urza Saga. So overall, set's not looking too promising. But then I thought back to the creature lantern list that I was playing a while ago, playing Agatha Soul Cauldron. And I was like, with Soul Cauldron, you can pay 2 life, copy the ability. Maybe you can do something there, get it under Soul Cauldron. All your creatures can do it. So I was going to play it as a one of. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, it's not available on the rental service yet. So I'm going to play this version without Scientist, and then depending on how it goes, we might try one of fun of Scientist after. But as for this version, it's changed a lot from the last time I played Creature Lanterns. That was a while ago. But basically, Lanterns typically no creatures, and this version looks to go all in on creatures to tutor up the Lantern package. So if you'll notice, we're only playing 2 Ensnaring Bridge, 2 Lantern, 3 Shredder, 1 Pixis, which is a lot less than we typically play to make space for all these utility creatures. So probably the best creature in the deck is Oswald Fiddlebender, which lets you pay white and tap it to go get it's like a birthing pod for artifacts. So you can go from a 0 drop all the way up to Ensnaring Bridge because of a card from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set, Sewer Valence Cam. So if you sacrifice a 0 drop, you get Sewer Valence Cam, which enters and untaps the Fiddlebender. You then sacrifice the Cam into a 2 drop. When it leaves, it untaps the Fiddlebender. You then tap the Fiddlebender to sack the 2 drop to get the Ensnaring Bridge. So you can go from a 0 to Bridge in 1 turn pretty easily. We have Opal, Mox Amber. The mana base is pretty interesting, so we're playing Plaza of Heroes because most of our colored spells are just legendary. So in addition to Oswald, we're also playing the Emery, get a lot of the graveyard going. Rona is just a good looter, and then Skrelv is there to protect our creatures. Soul Cauldron, just to give these abilities to all our creatures so we can get some pretty crazy loops going late game. There's like a ton of lines with this deck that even now I'm still not, I probably don't know them all. There's probably ones we'll find out in the recording. Excavated Wall seems like a pretty unplayable card, but I actually think it's really important. Just slows down some early aggression, and it's not a must-remove threat. People don't see this and go, "Oh my goodness, I have to kill the wall," which can make it a very nice Soul Cauldron target. And additionally, the mill a card on yourself does actually come up sometimes. We do have 4 Thoughtseize for protection, also running Spellskite. You could go up on Spellskite. It is very good with Soul Cauldron, just letting everything turn into Spellskites. So your creatures are kind of the walls, all your utility guys, Skrelv, Spellskite, and then also Urza Saga. So if you make constructs, and then even if you have an Ensnaring Bridge down, you can make constructs to do more Soul Cauldron abilities. And then we also have an infinite combo to end the game, so we're playing one of Grinding Station. Because Sewer Valence Cam is really good with Oswald for the ability to go from 0 to Ensnaring Bridge, and playing Grinding Station as a one of just gives you that infinite combo with Grinding Station, Emery, Sewer Valence Cam, Mox Opal. Not really strong enough to be the entire focus of a deck, like it is a lot to assemble and can be disrupted, but as a backup plan, I think it's really solid. In the sideboard, kind of the most notable card is Aethersworn Canonist. I actually think this card is really strong in the deck. And your ability to tutor it with Oswald, I think, is really important in a lot of matchups. We have another Ensnaring Bridge because some decks you just want more copies of it against. And then a bunch of 1 and 2 drop hate pieces. A couple removal spells, again, that we can tutor with Oswald. And then Narset for Quantum Riddler and Ashiok for Titan. The one matchup that I don't think is covered very well is Eldrazi. So I'm not exactly sure what our plan for that is going to be, but we'll take it through a league. Hope to dodge Eldrazi, hope to find some secret tech. Sorry that this deck tech is super long, but this is a very, very different version of Lantern, so I think there's a lot to go over, but let's get into the games. Alright, round one we are on the play, and yes, we would like to go first. Mox Amber, if this was an opal, we probably keep the hand, but I think that's just a mulligan. Well, we're gonna disrupt something, at least. We could have kept the third Thoughtseize. I mean, ideally, it is kind of a risky hand, but if we are able to draw into a land, okay, up against Merfolk, sorry, just, we're gonna take the Hex Catcher, just because it's the best at disrupting what we've got going on, and somewhat likely that they just lead on Ether Vial here. And then Flood's Pit's Drowner. I mean, typically Merfolk is a pretty good matchup for Lantern. This version might struggle a bit. We're just going to play the wall here, looking to turn on Mox Opal as soon as possible. Yeah, maybe a bit greedy keeping the one lander. We are playing 61 with only forget the land count. 19 lands, 4 Mox Opal, and 2 Mox Amber. So 25 mana sources, which I think is pretty fine. The casting now, Silver Grail Adept revealing a Drowner to draw a card. Again, I mean, the wall is going to save us a good chunk of damage. That's actually pretty big here. It's probably going to get Flood Pits drowned. And we mill over another Opal, Fiddlebender Saga. So wouldn't have been drawing a land anyway. Or would have drawn an Opal, which would have been bad. Can't auto yield here. And are looking to get this Thoughtseize off. Kind of unfortunate that the first matchup we run into would just be a matchup that is way better. I don't know how we get blown out by this. Double Lord? Okay. If they have Double Lord, they have Double Lord. Maybe they just wanted it to be tapped for something. But like I was saying, kind of unfortunate that our first matchup is one that would probably just be way better on a regular version. Silver Drill Adept revealing Flood Pit's Drowner again. And then are they going to play the Glasspool Mimic? Oh, they play... I think that's better for us, actually. Don't want them having to sink into Stupor. Because this is a matchup where just Ensnaring Bridge is our best card. Are they going to let me untap with Emery? Not that she does anything here, but... Probably not. Flood Pit's Drowner? Yeah. Oh. Now the question becomes, do we Pithing Needle Ether Vial, or do we Thoughtseize? And I think we just do both, because it turns on Mox Opal. I know what I'm doing. Are they going to force a negation this? That's interesting. I'm assuming that Long Think means they do have a force. But we are going to need... I mean, Agatha's Soul Cauldron would be our best draw here. And they do force pitch Glasspool, so they have Drowner and 1 mystery card in hand. So Soul Cauldron would... we could Cauldron, exile the Fiddlebender, and then next turn... no, we'd still be a turn or two away. Well, or we could sacrifice the Soul Cauldron. Silver Gill Adept revealing another Flood Pit's Drowner. Their hand is Drowner plus Mystery card. And I'm in there, getting a good amount of damage in. The question is, do we do Rona or Spellskite next turn? Tide Shaper. Okay, less of a... Oh, well, or we just draw Fiddlebender. Tide Shaper, definitely less of an issue when we have Mox Opal, but obviously still good. It is going to take us 2 turns to get... So we could sacrifice Pithing Needle to get Soul Cauldron, and then activate Cauldron on the Fiddlebender in the graveyard onto the wall, and they're just going to Flood Pits Drowner it. Yeah, we might just die to them with no lords. So we're taking 10, 8. We're down to 4, and I don't know if anything can save us because we did... yeah, maybe shouldn't have kept the 1-lander there. I do also think... Oh, this might be a pretty long league. In my testing and practice matches, they were typically pretty long. So, they're going to get rid of the Fiddlebender. And so we block, take 6. Block, take 4. Can't get 2 creatures down. Unfortunate first round loss to Merfolk. Or first game loss to Merfolk. Sideboarding. We definitely want Ensnaring Bridge. If their main answers are Bounce and Counter Magic, I'm not sure if we need Spellskite. Cookbook, probably not. And then the question is, do we want some removal? The Pithing Needle is also good against Medallion Hexcatcher, so I think we leave it in. Narset seems slow. Jailer, Spellskite, Orb. I think we run it like that. Just bringing in the extra Ensnaring Bridge, as if we can naturally draw it. That is pretty big. Alright, at least we do get to be on the play. And we have a much better hand this game. Double Ensnaring Bridge to hopefully fight through some counter magic. Mox Opal that will actually be able to turn on. Urza Saga for Lantern. Much nicer hand. If we were on the draw, I would maybe consider Urza Saga, just with that extra chance to draw a 3rd land. To get the... whatchamacallit? To get Lantern down a turn earlier. But I think just the risk of not finding that next land is kind of problematic, so we'll see what we can do here. Well, we did find it anyway, so probably could have led on Saga. This will give us the option to make constructs. And then here, a turn like this is perfect for just using the wall. They might counterspell this, like Force or something. Consign to Memory. There's a lot they could have. Our hope is kind of that most of it is counter magic based, and then we're able to go under them a bit. Definitely better on the play than the draw. That's big. I'm playing the Odawara out. Probably going to go after our Saga. And the other thing with the removal being bounce, like Sink into Stupor, if we're able to resolve 2 bridges, which obviously is a big if, but that's very big. Okay, it just snap resolves. So I'm kind of incentivized to hold the Mox Opal in hand for like playing being able to sacrifice one and then still have the mana source. I mean, it was a free attack for them. Worst comes to worst, I block, but we are going to use the wall. As this one has a lot more, like, Emery Soul Cauldron. There's a lot more that uses the graveyard here. I do think we just run out the third bridge. We are basically at Codex Shredder mana with the Mox Opal in order to get it back if they counter it. I mean, obviously, if they force, it goes to exile, but if it's just consign, that's fine. And we are playing one Academy Ruins in the list, which can be a very good grindy piece, especially as with cards like Emery, we do mill ourselves a bit faster than a lot of versions. Turn 4 Ether Vial. Yeah, the real question is going to be what interaction do they have in their hand? Oh, there goes our one Pithing Needle. I mean, we're top decking. We have a lot of very good top decks. Another Urza Saga, Lantern, obviously. Fiddlebender, Emery are both very good. Even Thoughtseize would be good. Just make sure they're not sitting on a Hercules recall. Another Ensnaring Bridge would be good. So they have 2 cards in hand. No real idea what those are. Glimmer Void. This is a pretty solid Glimmer Void deck, I would say, all things considered. Just having 3 types of mana that we need. I mean, we're okay to continue to draw Codex Shredder if we're ever able to find an Oswald. Grabbing Lantern off of that Oswald is going to be very good. We can auto yield to these. And then here in slower games like this, where you are just top decking and there's not a lot of progress being made, just managing your clock efficiently is very important because the game can't really stall out from here. Thoughtseize would have been a nice card. We're not activating Pixis here, as we do have a decent number of one-ofs, and if we have to go for the combo line to end the game, we don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to exile like our one-of grinding station. If that's a line that we need, because that is a way we can win the game sometimes. Mindspring Merfolk, that is really good here. I guess 2 blue, they can draw 2 cards on it. I mean, very strong. Especially given that we're both kind of stalled out. I wonder if we should play the Opal just to get the... Does it activate only as a sorcery? No, just activate only once. Plaza of Heroes, we do not need more lands here. I wonder if we should get Bridge back just to put the second bridge on the battlefield. Grinding Station, well, at least now our one-of combo piece is in the graveyard. Would kind of like a creature here, or double. Oswald is one of our better draws here, and Urza Saga is also a better draw, so that's why we mill ourselves. So then, next turn we can grab a Lantern. Yes, they are gonna... Oh, X equals 3. So they draw 3 cards. At least they can't use it anymore. But obviously not feeling great about that. Still doing an alright on time. Yeah. Ooh. Oops. Oh, okay. So I do find a removal spell for our Fiddler. Or Fiddlebender, not Fiddler. But Urza's Saga, I mean, they might have consigned to memory, but we are 2 turns away from Lantern of Insight. If we mill a Academy Ruins, we're like snap getting that back with Codex Shredder. And they have another Tide Shaper. I mean, they're drawing the right stuff. Unfortunately for them, no bridge, but what can you do? Or no answer to bridge yet. But I'm sure it's coming with 4 cards in hand. And our Mox Amber is online, obviously. So, mill ourselves. Another Fiddlebender. That makes Soul Cauldron a good draw. Spell Scout. Would love to find a Soul Cauldron. Well, I mean, do you have another Tide Shaper? I do wonder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So we can get back a Fiddlebender and cast a Fiddlebender. We'll see if they have any response for this. Target creature with a stun counter on it. Which this Fiddlebender doesn't have. We maybe shouldn't have targeted Fiddlebender. Probably should have just got Spell Scout, honestly. But nothing can attack anyway. Yeah, maybe a slight mistake there. I thought the Fiddlebender could be shuffled away if it was like tapped. But it can't. And they are going to sink the bridge, which definitely suggests we should have just returned bridge. Because we could have played it. This gives other merfolks, that's 4, 7, 10, 13. So we're not literally dead unless they have other lords, which they might actually. So we might just be dead. I mean, if the Fiddlebender survives, we can sacrifice to go up the chain to get bridge back. We might cast bridge if it gets countered, then we go up the chain to get the other one. Oh, no, there's 2 in our graveyard. So if we draw Academy Ruins here, or Soul Cauldron, I don't think that saves us here. I think this just gets countered. And we don't have 4. Well, you know how early in the game I said drawing 2 ensnaring bridges was good? Drawing 2 ensnaring bridges was not good. Very tough game there. We did go through like half our deck. They just had the right answers, but we'll keep fighting. Game 2, we are on the draw against Kahira. And I think we keep. Double Emery is pretty strong. We can get it down turn 2, turn 1 if we get a 0 drop. Arid Mesa Go. That's a good card to draw. And because of the presence of Surveil lands, I do like leading on Codex Shredder. I think there's a fairly high likelihood they go fetch Surveil, being what's somewhat likely to be a control deck. Or Elementa? Cat? I don't know. They leave it on top. It's getting milled. Erode. Oh. This might just be the land destruction deck. And if this is the land destruction deck, we have a slight problem. Problem being, Wrath the Skies is extremely good against us, and I am playing one basic. Yep. Well, they did exile a path, which they might regret doing. I think we're going to go for Emery first. They're playing Ensnaring Bridge. I think I'm okay with that. I'm going to cast the Emery. Kind of unfortunate that it's getting rid of the Thoughtseize, but they do only have one land. So we might be able to keep them on one land. So this is... I haven't seen Ensnaring Bridge in the land destruction decks much, but I suppose it makes sense. Do we have any way of keeping them off of this land? Unfortunately, March exiled the Shredder. We do have our Loris established. And our basic is a island, which I think they're more likely to go after Plaza here. So if they... Now, Elegant Parlor is tapped. So maybe... I mean, they probably play the tapped Parlor and then another Ensnaring Bridge. I'm assuming they take out their bridges post-board, and then maybe we can kill them with constructs, you know? Price of Freedom would really like that to go. Very much digging for a... Thoughtseize is not bad. Probably cast Oswald here, which we're going to cast Oswald and draw the Thoughtseize. Yes, would like to untap Rona. I mean, Rona's a 2-of, but I do think she's pretty good. One too deep. We could cast Emery. We don't have any Moxes in the graveyard, unfortunately. Otherwise, we could cast Emery, untap Rona, loot with Shredder, and then hope that we mill one of our 6 Moxes. Feels a little risky. Oh boys, they're gonna Price of Freedom. Solitude is fine. Wildfire. They already have a Price of Freedom. Deals 4 damage to any target. And makes a bunch of 1/1s. So I think we take this Price of Freedom. So they only have 1. And yeah. Oh, Should have cracked Bobble. Yeah, that's my bad. Bobble should definitely have been cracked there, just to draw the Coda Shredder before it gets shuffled away. We could say no to the shuffle. Actually, yeah, that might be what we do here, because we want the Shredder. And then what we really need is a Moxen. Can we combo here? Get a 0-drop back, play the 0-drop. No, we don't have a Mox Opal. If we had a Mox Opal, I think we could, because we would Emery, play Bobble, sack the Bobble for Sewer Cam, untap, get Grinding Station, and then could combo in... Oh, not an upkeep. Well, let's start looting with Rona. And then what we can do here is tap our Plaza for the Soul Cauldron, which will untap Rona, letting us draw the Conceal. Oop. Well, I don't really want to attack. And this can actually get rid of the wall. I do think Ensnaring Bridge could have some relevance this game. Oh my goodness. Guess I shouldn't have my finger on the pass phase button. Definite mistake there. Field of Ruin. They're gonna have it. Origin of... I have not seen this card. This does get them to 4 mana for their sagas. Okay, we've maybe have perhaps played a touch sloppily. Oh, where's our island? Oh, we milled our island. That is rather unfortunate. Yeah. They're gonna go after our cauldron. Probably just take out a march or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Nope. So Wildfire, Mox Amber. Does this let us go infinite here? So we play the Mox. It might actually. Discard the bridge. Because then we can sacrifice this to go get Sewer Valence Cam, which untaps Oswald. Yes. And then we can play a Mishra's Bauble because it's free. And use this for a white. This is going to be a lot of clicking right here. To sacrifice the Sewer Valence Cam. Which is going to get a 2-drop. So we're going to target Emery. And in response with Emery, we are going to tap Emery, targeting the Sewer Valence Cam. So we would like to untap Emery. And then we're going to go get Grinding Station. And then we're going to tap Emery for Mox Amber. We're going to play Mox Amber. Always yield to those. Play Mox Amber. We're going to tap Mox Amber for blue and cast Sewer Valence Cam. When it enters, we're going to untap Emery. And yes. And then we're going to tap and... sorry, I just have to work out how to tap through the combo. See, this is what I mean with more complicated lines, and I also got to worry about our clock. We're going to tap, sacrifice the Cam, which is going to untap Emery, and then in response, we're going to tap it. No, I think I missed one. I missed... Fortunately, we still have a blue up. So you're going to mill 3. I'm going to sacrifice this artifact. This is going to target Emery. Emery is going to target Surveillance Cam. I am going to mill you for 3, then untap Grinding Station. Oh, always yes. Yes. And then I'm going to hopefully not make any more mistakes. Nope. Holy. Well, clock might actually just be a real concern here. So then this is going to untap Emery. But then I'm going to use Grinding Station to mill you and sacrifice Mox Opal. And then I will untap Emery. And then I will untap Grinding Station. And then I will cast Mox Amber. And when that resolves, I will use the Grinding Station trigger to sacrifice Surveillance Cam, which will untap Emery. And I will be back when I'm done clicking. Well, we're getting to the end of our combo here as we mill them out, and may have discovered a new issue with the deck, being that combo takes a long time to click through. Like, holy smokes. So we won. We now have 12 minutes on our clock for potentially 2 more games. Yeah, that might be a concern we have. For the land destruction deck, Ashiok is pretty funny against their Field of Ruins, but obviously no guarantee that we get to it. Spellskite is pretty good. Lantern, Jailer, Orb. They're not playing the 2-drop flyer. We did see that one Saga, so I'm going to leave 1 bridge in. I don't know if we actually have enough time to click through the combo in the next game. Narset's kind of funny against their blow up a land, draw card spells. But I do think that is going to be a pretty real concern, where if there's this looks much more just like a Lantern. I'll keep it. If the combo is going to take that much time, this potentially is not going to be viable on Magic Online. This we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and obviously some people concede to the combo, but no guarantees. Kind of nice that we did keep a hand with no 0 drops. Our Urza Sagas might as well at least try to get it out of the way. I'm not expecting this Urza Saga to live beyond a turn. But we will be able to get Rona down next turn, which is something. Yeah, the fact that we do only have 1 basic, if they just go like with Emery, actually, we might be on a slightly different plan. Monumental Henge. Very good against us. Vexing Bubble's also quite good. Although, so is Soul Cauldron. And so is Surgical Extraction. So if we can get... Oh, they just had one in hand already. If we can get Soul Cauldron down, it makes Surgical a lot worse. What do you... Oh, they want to play their Surgical Extraction on Mishra's Bubble? I don't know what they want to play it on. They will probably see March on our Saga. Yeah, that's very annoying. The one good thing of this deck is that when you don't have fetch lands, all your lands still work. As some decks against this deck, you are incentivized to fetch shock so that you don't like expose your basics. So you fetch shock and then you can run out of fetchables. So then you draw fetch lands, which are lands, but you can't use them. So I guess no. Is that balanced out by the fact that we only have one basic land in the deck? Yeah, but okay. Kind of hilarious that they sacked one Vexing Bauble just to look at our hand, see that we didn't have any more Vexing Baubles. Another Shredder. I kind of want to go Spellskite here. Just get some protection down, and I guess we start rumbling with Emery. Emery go Burr. Only 15 more turns of Emery. Henge is going to be a problem. So with Concealed Courtyard in hand, we could maybe go... I would rather have Emery than Spellskite, so we're just going to do that. Because Emery means Price of Freedom. We can grab an Opal off of this. But Shredder, and then honestly, probably just replaying Spellskite. And making it a lot harder. I mean, they could just also just have Wrath of Skies in hand, and then we need a Thoughtseize. Or Wear Tear. The fact that this card has Fuse, oh boy. March, not the end of the world, with Menace. Whenever an assassin you control attacks, create a 1/1. So they make like 4 1/1s with Menace. That seems fine. I think that this is going to be a game that we're just going to have to mill them out. Just do Lantern stuff, non-land permanent you control, and then return it to the battlefield. So this to deal 4 damage every turn. I do think we get Mox Opal off this Urza Saga just to have another mana source. They're gonna fetch. Solitude. What are you going after? I mean, yeah, it goes after the Emery. One card in hand. So next turn, Urza Saga makes mana. We gotta play Bridge. Ooh, it is exiled, which is a little unfortunate. What were we talking about getting? Mox Opal. And then I think we do just play out this Codex Shredder. They have one unknown in hand, and if that one unknown kills us, it kills us. Emery has done her job here. So Path, not a huge deal. And actually the May searches are kind of relevant now. We would like maybe we could have got Pithing Needle, I guess, for this Henge, but I don't know what all they can get off it. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. So more copies of Yes. And we're good. Mox Opal kind of works. We'll at least be able to get empty-handed. I thought that triggered twice for a second, meaning like double triggered, but just once for each. We're not going to have a creature for a while. That a road will take care of those. But I'm kind of okay with them eroding a Mox Opal. Like, that's not really relevant here. I do very much want to know what their one card in hand is. And then also want to dig for a Pithing Needle for this Monumental Henge. It does reveal, yeah. Because if they get 3 of these, I don't know what other... Oh! March was their last card. Hmm. And this is our only bridge, right? Yeah, we took out 2. That's a good game. We can't beat that. Yeah, well, pretty good last card for them to be holding in only 7 minutes. I guess this is what people are talking about when they say Lantern is a slow deck. But hey, on the plus side, might be the first 3-hour league in the history of the channel. Spellskite seems very good. Spellskite plus Skrelv is extremely strong. I don't... Maybe we'll cut a Bauble if we see they're so heavy into the Vexing Baubles. And is going to make it very difficult to combo in 7 minutes. Like, we're gonna have to win the game by milling, I think. Oh, they got pregame actions? Why is my hand not loading? Oh, yeah, they're revealing Kihira. Actually, we'll keep this. This is a turn 2 Emery with protection. Plaza. If my computer could run MTGO a bit faster, or if MTGO could just run a bit faster on its own, that'd be great. We'll see how the quality does here as I struggle to fight the clock and make relevant comments. Concealed Courtyard. Pixis of Pandemonium. Emery. Because, yeah, Skrelv is randomly an artifact, which is very helpful. The one unfortunate part is we can't auto-pass because, or can't auto-yield because we need to hold Skrelv up in case of a removal spell. But if they get a Surveillance and leave on top, we just exile. Oh, they get a Sacred Foundry, which means they're going to kill something. Come on, target the Emery. Don't know what Skrelv does. They know what Skrelv does. Yeah, we'll go grab our island. If you grab the basics early, like, it's going to be a lot harder for them. Actually, if they don't remove it this turn, I will just fully fire off a Plaza of Heroes on it to save the Emery. Unless they play Voidmere. And then Emery gets a good deal worse. Okay, oh, they march? Pitch Wear and Tear? Pitch Wear and Tear. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. I am going to complain about that. Well, so what's the rest of their hand that they're... I mean, Field of Ruin. Rona is a very good draw here. Loot away some lands. Let's play out a Spire, I think is okay. We don't want to play Spire. Okay, well, there we go. We don't want to go totally like play everything in case they are all just removal, like land destruction spells. Yeah, we got nothing. And then 6 minutes. It might be tight. Monumental Henge. I don't want Urza's Saga. Mox Opal at least lets us untap Rona. Well, we can dig for something. Get rid of the courtyard. And kind of looking for Soul Cauldron. Another Rona. I mean, would be an untap, but looking for Soul Cauldron, Fiddlebender. A few cards we can find. Spellskite. There was kind of what we were looking for. You got another one? Another March. Yeah, that's very good. I guess the deck that's just playing a whole bunch of removal plus ensnaring bridge of its own tends to be pretty good. Solitude. Wrath the Skies X equals 3. We are having fun. Well, kind of slipping away from us here. Game 1 was cool. We're what, like an hour into the video already? Holy smokes, we've done 2 games. Haven't done 2 games yet, we still have this one to go. Yeah. I will say this deck makes you think a lot. Oh, they're gonna Surgical. Wonder what they hit off Surgical. Targeting Lantern. How do we win from here? We somehow click through the combo in 5 minutes? So if we Emery and mill Grinding Station and Sewer Valence Cam, we can tap, get Sewer Valence Cam back. Yeah, we didn't, but we did mill an Ensnaring Bridge, which is something. Now is when they probably just start going after our lands. No. Yeah, as our lands go, this is just gonna slip farther and farther away. Yeah. Fail to find. So now the question is, do we get Ensnaring Bridge first? Nope, I think I'm just gonna play Emery. Oh, we gotta... we gotta get Codex Shredder just to mill them, honestly. And then cast Emery just to mill 4 more cards. Which is maybe wrong here. Yeah, I've gone through 33 cards and no Sewer Cam, no... Oh, we're so dead. Bridge, and 1 bridge is exiled? No. No bridge exiled. Well, I guess we can hope that we draw a bridge and that somehow all goes right. They can just loop. Yeah, I don't think we win this. Well, with Hull of Heliod's Generosity, plus this, they can just loop it for 4 damage every turn, even if we do find a bridge. and we're not racing that. Wow, really tough one. Game 1 took forever, but was a cool game. Yeah, this is a slow deck to play. Alright, we're once again on the draw with a hand that would definitely prefer to be on the play, but picks this into either of these next turn is probably just fine. Pixis, run out Mox Opal, and then next turn if we draw 0 drop, we can go Emery and Fiddlebender. If we stole our Mox Amber, that would have been a 0 drop we liked. I'm assuming they cast it. No reason for them not to. Yeah, definitely running into Ragavan with the whatchamacallit, with all the 0 drops hurts a bit. Probably just energy here. Yeah, turn 2 Spyro, not off the treasure. Feels real bad. Oh, 2 lands discarded. Lantern's actually pretty good. So that'll let us Lantern and then play a 2-drop, which given we could, I think we just Emery here because we don't want to draw a second Emery. I don't really want to draw a Cookbook either. So we'll maybe Pixis it away. The hard part of Pixising away Cookbook is this might also just be a game where we need it. Ocelot Pride, so yeah, definitely energy. Unfortunately, the Emery hits weren't really good. I do think we trade her for Ragavan. Because if we trade her for Ragavan, we can go Cookbook and Soul Cauldron. Like, it's not like there's anything really to get back that's relevant. Yeah. And seeing the downside to Pixis here, because we probably would get rid of Ocelot. Well, they got a fetch land anyway. So next turn we go Cookbook, Soul Cauldron. Then the turn after, so I guess we're getting Pithing Needle off of Versus Saga. Because backside of Fable plus Spyro is, whew. So Soul Cauldron, Cookbook, probably discarding Fiddlebender, and then just playing Ensnaring Bridge. Then I guess we let them have the Pride. Yeah. Because we're going to be able to discard everything we draw anyway. And they can have Fiddlebender. I don't really care about that. And they get another Ocelot Pride. But again, if they don't kill us this turn, we can be empty-handed with Ensnaring Bridge next turn, which is big. So they're going to dash it instead of hasting. So 2 cards in hand, which are 2 Ocelot Prides, actually. We know what both of them are. Urza Saga is beautiful. Definitely one of our best draws here. And we are kind of totally abandoning the creature plan. As we're just going to play Ensnaring Bridge and then just be a functional Lantern deck. Which, I will say, if our best shot at winning is just abandoning all the cool stuff and just playing regular Lantern, might not be the best sign. Yeah. Might have to restart Magic Online after this round. Yeah, go to... they didn't actually... And they don't have any way of gaining life, which is big. Ooh, Academy Ruins. So we're gonna get the Pithing Needle. Which, there is a reason we still play one. I have seen lists of this variety that play no needle. But I like having it. Hopefully we are struggling here. And Ensnaring Bridge, and how do you beat this? I don't know if they can. What's their one card in hand? Oh, it's the Ragavan. Obviously they dashed it. So they need Runner Runner in the next 2 turns, and then they need Runner 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 after that. And I guess we can put... actually, we should be using Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Start grabbing Fiddlebender, Emery, Rona, exiled, and then we can make constructs with the Urza Saga. Slap a 1/1 counter on them, and then that will actually be pretty good. It will be kind of overkill, but it'll still be good. Thraben Charm kills Urza Saga, which does take away our construct plan here. And they don't think it's relevant, that's just fine. Delcoven Encampment, don't care. I do not care. I am gonna Soul Cauldron though. Grab the Fiddlebender. And then these are about to be some pretty stacked constructs. Actually, we can do this immediately. So we can construct and then sacrifice. Oh no, we can't use their tap abilities right away. Might as well just do this to maximize our clock usage or minimize our clock usage. And then we'll just F6 here. Delcoven Encampment on top doesn't do anything. We will get 1 Codex Shredder off Urza Saga and another off of our Construct token. Obviously getting rid of this Johnny. Fable also obviously getting rid of. Well, let's flood the board with some Codex Shredders. There's going to be a lot of artifacts to keep track of. And there's nothing in the graveyard. And sacrifice the food. Go get a Codex Shredder. Can't actually grab Skrelv, which is kind of cool. And then Milieu. And Ragavan's totally fine. So from here, I do think I'm done tutoring at this point. I'll just mill them out from here. Shouldn't be a big deal. And I guess this game we will get to see how much faster the clicking through of milling them out with Lantern is compared to the whole Sewer Cam combo. Because, yeah, that one is clicks and a half. I don't need my upkeep stop anymore. Oh, what? I didn't mean to F6 through my turn. I just took my upkeep stop off. Well, sideboarding, definitely going to have a restart. Because Magic Online is struggling. It can't handle the Soul Cauldron. That actually kind of checks out. The amount of interactions that probably have to be coded in for Soul Cauldron. But, ooh. Turn off auto yield. Oh, they don't do anything. Just mill them out. Well, our opponent scoops it up there. We did see they were playing main deck Blood Moon. I think I might have exiled it with Pixis. But they were playing main deck Blood Moon, which is something to note, and we let them have a Blood Moon there, and then they conceded. Alright, so restarting Magic Online for Boros. We want Pithing Needle. I'm bringing in the other bridge. The wall actually seems pretty solid. We might be able to cut the combo. Like, I think we're just better off. Cam is good because with Fiddlebender you can still get to bridge, but I don't think. Maybe we should leave it in. And then that gives us 2 needles. Maybe cut the Skrelv because the life is gonna add up a decent chunk. Yeah, I don't hate that. Opal, Amber, Saga cannot cast Emery. If this was a blue land, I would keep it. Yeah, and I think put Rona back. Because we go Lantern. The other option is go turn 1, land, Lantern, Amber. Turn 2, Emery. No, but to do that, we have to keep the second land. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Moto today. Alright, we got it working. Rona to the bottom. Let's see how. Oh, well, I was going to say, let's see how fast of an energy start they got, but I guess we have our answer. I mean, don't mind if I do. Goblin Bombardment, pretty good. Let's see what Emery mills. Does mill the cam. Can we go infinite next turn? Soul Cauldron, Fiddlebender, get back Emery, because we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. We play Cauldron, exile Fiddlebender, play the cam, sacrifice the cam, get Grinding Station. I think we can. So now just hoping they play out the bombardment? Or play out a Johnny? Right? I don't think I'm missing. Maybe we're missing 1 mana to start the combo? Come on, don't discharge Emery, don't discharge Emery. Just play the bombardment. Like, we're not. So we play the Cauldron, we exile the Fiddlebender. We tap Emery, use 1 mana. Boo. Boo. No fun. Boros strikes again. Well, let's go for the wall. Can we again combo next turn? Mox Amber isn't turned on, but Mox Opal is. Yeah, I think we can. I'll let them have a Johnny Bombardment. If they want to play a Johnny, that's fine.
Huh. Well, I am glad I left the grinding station in. Yeah, left it in. Um, the fact, if they play Wrath the Skies for one here, I am gonna cry. Yeah, the fact that if we hadn't got bolted there, there was a turn 2 win in the deck is kind of insane. So we exile Emery, put our counter there. But then I think we're going to have to go through this together. We exile Oswald, get the counter here. Then we're going to cast Mishra's Bauble. Then we're going to tap the Surveillance Cam. Spire gives us mana. Cast Surveillance Cam. Always yes. And then we sacrifice the Sewer Cam, which untaps our wall to go get an artifact, which is going to be a grinding station, which is then going to target them and sacrifice the Mox Opal. And then it's going to untap itself. Always yes. Yes. And then we tap. Oh. No, because we don't have blue. Because we don't have a legendary. Shoot. Yeah, we don't have any way of getting blue either. Because if we recast the Mox Opal. No, we recast the Opal and that gives us blue, but we can't cast it. Dang. Did I mess up somewhere there? Maybe I didn't have enough mana. Because I needed a white to activate Oswald and a blue. I think I messed up. It feels like I messed up. So it definitely feels like we could have done something very cool there. And we didn't. Yeah. So they are just going to be able to flip this Ajani. I guess we have to pray that none of those 3 cards are... I mean, this just domes us for a bunch of damage. It doesn't kill us. I mean, next turn, like, I'm pretty sure we do just have it. Gonna start by casting Mox Opal. And then in response, going to... I forgot to tap it for blue. Shoot. This like, should very easily be a win. So we're going to give the Sewer Cam be able to be cast. And they're thinking, do they have, if they have Thraben Charm, I would be so annoyed. They have to have it, right, if they're fetching? Where on the Soul Cauldron? Yeah. I think we just die here. Like with the Johnny and everything they have going on. Yeah, that's pretty disappointing. I think I missed a win. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I think there was a win the previous game, or like the previous turn, sorry, when they were tapped out. Um, yeah. Oh, well, if you see it, let me know in the comments. If you've played Sewer Cam before and have any advice on how to play it faster, also let me know because I definitely need that. Um, yeah, that was. Poof, these games are something. I will say, I do enjoy this. Um, this would be a list I would consider building in paper um if like the Soul Cauldron wasn't so expensive. And it is kind of crazy that we maybe had a turn two. Maybe if the lands were a bit different. No, with Emery we did just have the turn two. No guarantees I would have been able to click through it properly. I think we lead on Thoughtseize. See what they brought in. Well, they just have Guide Pride. So I guess we take Bombardment. And let them do their thing. Reminder that Fiddlebender can go from 0 drop to bridge. So, I'm not saying that's guaranteed, but we could have, like this hand is very capable of turn 3 bridge. We're just going to play out the Fiddlebender. We know they don't have removal right now, and I don't think it makes sense to wait for them to find removal. I mean, they might have drawn it, obviously. Always a concern with Boros that they just rip the exact right card to beat you. Voice is pretty good. They can attack with their guide. Glimmer Void, pretty good here. I'm gonna play the Codex Shredder. And then if I'm playing the Codex Shredder already, the wall is free. White sacrifice it to go get Sewer Cam, which is then going to always yes. Going to sacrifice the Cam. I think here I'm actually going to grab the Soul Cauldron so that if they remove the Fiddlebender, I can still do something about that. Like if they remove the Fiddlebender, then I can just use Soul Cauldron. Otherwise, next turn I think I just sacrifice the wall. Oh, I gotta go 2 up. Maybe I don't know what I do. I guess we'll stay tuned for next turn to see what I do. But if you are still watching, I greatly appreciate it. And I assume that means you are somewhat interested in this specific version of Lantern, because the games are slow and there aren't that many people who are interested in playing it. They jumped the guide here, obviously. So we're gonna block there and block there. Sorry, like I was saying, not a ton of people who are interested in this version. So if you're still here, feel free to let me know like any feedback you have on this deck. I do like I'm definitely gonna play it more because I enjoy playing it a lot. And even though it's quite a grind and fully lining up to be that nice like half-hour league, or sorry, 3-hour league, half an hour per round. Probably could have milled with Codex Shredder there. Does that change things? Lantern? We know they have Pride plus something. I think maybe actually. The problem is, so if we sacrifice the Soul Cauldron, we still have one card in hand. But that problem doesn't go away next turn either, because we still only have 3 mana. So probably should have just got the grinding station. Mox Opal is great. Arena of Glory. So their hand is Arena, Ocelot Pride, and 1 mystery card. And that mystery card is a Charmaw that they discard, and they drew into a Parlor, which we don't care about. So we are probably just playing this Oswald to get it out of hand, playing Mox Opal, sacrificing Mox Opal to get another Codex Shredder, and winning like that. Which, A, I think we can do, and B, I'm a little sad that the 2 games we win against Boros are going to be... I don't know why they didn't attack with everything. Are going to be games where we just Lantern lock them and didn't get to do the cool combo. Yeah, so slightly my fault on that one. What? Why wouldn't you jump? I guess they want to attack with the voice if we get... Or they still want to be able to attack with it? Yeah, they have no ways of drawing a card. So we can F6 here. And it should be a win against Boros. I mean, we are 1 and 2. And I think with... Yeah, I do think there is... this destroys a non-basic land, which happens to be all of our lands. White, sacrifice the Opal. Go grab another Shredder. Right, they don't have anything. I mean, they have some cards that are pretty good with... and then we could sacrifice the... So unfortunately, my audio cut out here, so I'm recording from the future. Didn't notice for the rest of this match, but everything else is good. From here, we are kind of just in the mill them out stage of the game. With double Codex Shredder, we are in pretty good position, and we are able to kind of find our important pieces. But then I do kind of make a bit of a mistake here, where I let them have a Johnny, thinking they don't have any way of killing it, so it's fine to let them have it. And then they flip the Saga here, and I realize, oh shoot, they can just copy a cat token with the reflection, and then yeah, the cat token will die end step when it gets sacrificed, and a Johnny will flip, which is actually a problem here. So I start milling, because if I find any 0 drop, I can just get the Pithing Needle, which is in the deck off of the Fiddlebender. So I basically have like a
a turn here to just find that. Technically 2 turns because the Ajani would flip, and then it would flip on end step, and then wouldn't be able to activate for a turn. So as you can see here, especially when they just have a flooded strand on top, I'm pretty aggressive, digging for a 0 drop, and then I do get somewhat lucky finding a Mox Amber on the last Codex Shredder mill, but we still obviously had a lot of hits left in the deck. And then we should go grab the Pithing Needle. And then here, do I name Reflection? No, I just named the backside of Ajani. Don't think I could name the Reflection, and I considered naming the Reflection. I remember talking about that when I was live playing it, but we don't there. And then the rest of the game kind of continues along the same vein where we are just milling them out with the multiple Codex Shredders. And we do get to do some fun lines here. Like the thing is, the thing I've kind of found with this deck is that like when you're in a position like this, you can go for the combo, but like it's kind of the same number of clicks as just milling them out, which is kind of funny to say. But if you think every 3 cards requires like 1 click of Emery to cast the Sewer Cam, 1 to actually cast the Sewer Cam, 1 to untap Emery, then 1 to sacrifice the Cam, then 1 to tap Emery, to untap Emery, then 1 to cast the Opal, then 1 to sacrifice the Opal. That's like 7 clicks to mill 3 cards instead of like 1 click to mill 1 card. So honestly, yeah, that is one concern I have with playing this online. But from here, I mean, they're gonna continue playing for a while, and I did actually speed some of this up for the live recording just to not have to sit through the whole thing because the league is already pretty long to begin with. But they're gonna end up putting like a ton of triggers on the stack. They do flip the Ajani because they do the reflection trick, but it obviously can't attack. So then from here, we're gonna mill them a lot. And then clock does become kind of relevant. Like we have 6 minutes. I think 6 minutes is more than enough time to mill people out. As I've said before, I have milled people out in 5-minute modern. But then something like that where they put like 100 triggers on the stack always does make me laugh a little bit because there's just an auto yield button. Like I just auto yield to everything. Um, yeah, this is kind of an example where like I do get Emery. Like I have the cam. You could go for the combo. But here I just gonna remove bombardment and they just exile everything and like they have 12 cards. The amount of clicking it's gonna take to like get the combo is like way too much. This Pithing Needle, I did consider naming You Are Already Dead, decided to just play it safe, play Goblin Bombardment, and they scooped it up pretty quickly. So apologies that the audio cut out on this one. We did secure the win against Boros here, and we'll look to get a couple more in our last 2 rounds. So I think it wraps up pretty shortly. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet and you're still watching, first of all, really appreciate it. And second of all, just tap that subscribe button. I can't remember if I said that in the video or said that in the part that got cut out. So we won. Let's get into the next one. And we are on the play for round 4. And am I crazy for saying this hand actually seems fairly solid? I think we take it and just slam a turn 2 ensnaring bridge with Thoughtseize. Seems solid. They're probably going to be somewhat confused by a lot of the deck here. Domain. I guess we just take Riddler and slam a turn 2 bridge and, well, turn 2 bridge provided we find a land and go from there. We don't find the land, we play Cookbook. I think we're in fairly okay shape. They fetch off the Arid Mesa. They do have one Surveil land in hand, which could maybe slow them down. But this wall, I guess that sort of works. Probably not the ideal way we want to cast Bridge, but it's not nothing. Do we want to use this to mill our opponent or to mill us? Like, let's see what they're drawing. Temple Garden, we're just fine with that. And now it's, can we find a way to win the game before they find a Leyline Binding? We'll see. But got it under, I guess, any like stubborn denial would be like the big one that we're trying to get under. And I mean, turn 2 Bridge definitely got under that. Cookbook can discard cards. Obviously, that's not exactly what we're wanting to do. Oh, they just have Leyline Binding. Well, that's very annoying. Well, that is hilarious. We're just going to play Cookbook and Shredder out. And just hope to grab another land. Their hand is 1 mystery card. I was going to say we're only playing 2 bridges, which maybe makes it harder to find a bridge. But then we just ripped the second one. Which does actually mean if they have 2 Leyline Bindings, we are in trouble. And they got all their mana pretty effectively. Yeah, I think it's worth it here. Because if we draw land, we can just play the bridge. They're obviously going to bolt. But I think that's not the end of the world, losing an excavated wall. Best land in the deck, as they now have 2 turns to find an answer. Which, again, they could just have, and that would be a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. People play answers in Modern now. Unfortunately, Ensnaring Bridge is no longer the total lockdown card it once was. Surveillance Cam, not really relevant here. I mean, might come up if we... It does have Flash, actually. So we could use it to tap something down. See what they do with this Thundering Falls. And they graveyard a Leyline. The Leyline that we don't care about. And they're going to play the Portico from hand. Mill a Steam Vents. So they have 2 unknowns. We do want to make the constructs here so that if they bounce bridge, or sorry, if they find a Leyline Binding for bridge, we're still okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and make the construct. I don't think it's super important to get a Rona down. And Domain is definitely a list that does not play a lot of card draw. So we'll see what they're able to do here. Again, if it's just play big creatures, that's totally fine. Like, it is possible that they just die to this. So they play Arena, which was not the Ragavan that we saw. So their hand is Ragavan Mystery card, which, I mean, as long as the Mystery card isn't Leyline Binding, we're good. And then we can turn these food tokens into, like, even Felia we don't care about anymore because it's not attacking. And they scoop it up there. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, we did get fairly lucky to draw our second ensnaring bridge. But another ensnaring bridge, spell skite is very good. Pithing needle is not. Pithing needle can be cut pretty easily. We could consider haywire might, specifically for leyline binding. Jailer, Orb, Ashiok, Narset. We did see Quantum Riddler. Ashiok's maybe. I don't know how many Riddlers they're playing. Because they were playing Felia. So they could be looking to scam a Riddler. Which is quite strong against us. Wall's good against Regavan. Skrell was pretty solid. I think we can cut some Ronas and run it like that. Maybe not bring in the Narsets yet. We'll see. Kind of assuming they're playing 4 copies of Riddler, but they might not be. I guess this is fine. We will see how Fiddlebender is, I suppose. Because this will very much be a Fiddlebender game. Do wonder if they just lead on Ragavan here. Are we supposed to run out the Haywire Might? Because we kind of need it to turn on the Spire. 0-drop artifact. 1-drop artifact. Yeah, I am actually good to lead on Lantern. Are they going to force it? No. Oh, well, Surveillance Cam on top is not exactly what we want to see. Especially because with Ragavan, they probably cast it. Or, sorry, they probably are not casting it. So if they're not casting it, it is just gone forever. Well, we will see what's under this Mishra's Bauble. 4 cards in hand for them. As my ideal here would kind of be playing the Bauble and then just sacrificing it to Fiddlebender. Kavu is pretty big. Oh, they are going to play it. I mean, I guess if they sacrifice it to draw cards later on, we could combo. To be honest, we might just be slow here. Soul Cauldron, pretty good. Like, if they hit it, Soul Cauldron is pretty strong. I think we'll just play the Fiddlebender and the Bauble. And then if they exile the Cauldron and there's a land under, we can play Grinding Station, sacrifice it to the Fiddlebender to go get Ensnaring Bridge. Now, it definitely depends what they have in hand. We know for sure it's a Ragavan. And 2 mystery cards. Okay, land and 2 mystery cards. Not blocking here. I don't know how relevant Cauldron would be for them. I guess it lets them drop +1/+1 counters everywhere. Which, like, could be somewhat relevant. I don't think it'll... There are 6, 7... like 7 with the counter. They can probably buff this to a 5/5. So that'd be 7/8 damage. 9 with the second activation. If we cast Thoughtseize. Okay, they don't play it. Which kind of makes me think they're holding up removal. They're going to fetch upkeep and bolt the Fiddlebender. That's a problem. The fairy, definitely very good against us. They are going to kill the Fiddlebender. Oh, they're going to draw 2 cards and tap the Fiddlebender. I think, honestly, this is important enough that I will sacrifice Lantern. So if I Thoughtseize, I go down to 9, and then they hit me for 7. I technically go down to 8 off of the Spire of Industry. So I could play out Haywire Might Grinding Station this turn, just to chump with the Haywire Might. That might actually be out of line. Yeah, the life from Spire is starting to add up a good chunk. Well, and after a pretty good think from our opponent, they do let the Lantern happen. They are at 11. Not that we are ever killing them with creatures. I do think just running out the Grinding Station and playing the Haywire Might to jump for a turn. Like I could sacrifice the Bauble to have them mill 3, but I don't think that's super relevant. So we'll see. If they kill the Might, we do go up to 13, which is something. And then we can Thoughtseize off the Spire and Fiddlebend off the Plaza next turn. If they don't have anything, which I'll be interested to see. They are going to discard a Portico and draw. We are going to focus on staying alive. So we stay at 11. Ragavan exiles a Mishra's Bauble, which they will play. Yeah, there's free card draw for them. Hopefully they do that this turn. Like, hopefully they just crack it right away. They do. Oh no, they crack the Foothills. Come on, crack the Bauble. They're going to play a Quantum Riddler. I think that's the only reason you shock a Steam Vents there. So, the issue with Quantum Riddler is Quantum Riddler for 1 card is fine. And they do actually crack the Bauble. So we will take that. Their Thoughtseize will get to see their hand. Riddler, if it's just draw 1, is fine. It's the I'm empty-handed. Oh, we're dead. 4, 9, 10, 11. Oh, right. This goes away. 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see what we draw. Mox Opal for colorless. Oh, that's unfortunate. Either way, we have to do Fiddlebender. And then I think we have to Thoughtseize, because we can keep 1 card in hand. So that's 7. If they have like Bolt for us, we're just dead. They have Stubborn Denial. So I mean, we don't take the 2 damage off it. We do get to not see their hand. Yeah, not feeling great. If they just run out the... Because we take 7, so we go down to 3, but then our land is Spire of Industry. So we can't...
They discard a Kavu? Agatha's Soul Cauldron exiled. Probably gonna lose game 2. But we're doing pretty well on clock. We're up almost 2 minutes. Leyline Binding. I mean, we could just draw Ensnaring Bridge, and they probably have Stubborn Denial, but I think it's still worth playing for. Well, now with this Charmaw coming down, we, oh, well, now we have, I don't think we can beat this, actually. With Leyline Binding on top, I do not believe there's a combination of 2 cards that we can draw that would get us there. And we can't. Unfortunate. They do have pretty solid removal, which I do think is always a concern with this deck, that you are opening yourself if your way of getting Ensnaring Bridge is all these things that die to removal. All of a sudden the removal becomes way more relevant where it wasn't before. Skrelv, just the life loss, I think we can cut it for Narset. And maybe an Emery. Generally, trying to test Oswald's more. I guess I've played with him less. Oh, I will be responsible. This is responsible, right? Right? I'm gonna get rid of the wall. So we have turn 2. I mean, we're just gonna lead on Codex Shredder. And I think that's all we need to play out this turn. And then next turn, if we go land, we can go Spellskite Opal Cookbook. And if we go non-land, we can go Opal Cookbook, discard it, Spellskite. It's not, I think both of those options are pretty solid. Now we might go Thoughtseize. So we're just gonna play Cookbook, play Opal, play Thoughtseize off the Opal. And then next turn, hope to hit land. Well, we are going to be taking more than a few Ragavan hits. So we'll see. The good news is if they draw something like Kavu, another fetch land, like we're somewhat likely to see it. But here, yeah, they're just going to be able to get in with Ragavan for a bit. Emery. Do they have artifacts they can recur? I don't think so, but maybe. They're just gonna Legend Rule, right? They want to get empty-handed for Quantum Riddler that they drew. It's a little disappointing. So they have one unknown, which I somewhat suspect is a Quantum Riddler. But we shall see. I don't know why else you play out the Ragavan there. Like, it's not like Ragavan being untapped. I don't know, I don't feel like I'm putting a lot of pressure on. Maybe they were scared of constructs. Do I mill consign? Like, if I play Spellskite and they counter it, I just put it back on top with Academy Ruins? So honestly, maybe I don't. I mean, obviously, you don't mill the consign and there's just land under, and so it looks bad, but if there's a leyline binding under there, I think it's a pretty fine call. They're going to play out their Quantum Riddler. They're going to learn how to tap. Yeah. Well, so we need a Narset. And do we need them not to draw this wear tear? Oh, unless they consign this Quantum Riddler trigger. No, they're not going to. Smart and not correct to consign there. I'm assuming they consign Spellskite because it is just a good card and is the last card in my hand. But now we have to dig for one of our two Narsets. Oh, they don't counter it. Okay. Woo! We'll be milling that. So they have Consign. We're just going to put that here. Consign. They did not cast the Riddler on Warp because they want to have Consign up that badly. Seems weird. And they want to keep the Shatterstorm in the deck, which makes sense. Well, they're probably going to leave Wrath on top. Yep, they leave Wrath on top. We're going to mill the Wrath. Kavu's fine. We're going to play out the Amber. It could be relevant in the future. Yeah, at this point, kind of looking, I mean, all of our creatures do die to Bolt. So, Soul Cauldron, Narset. Narset would be our best draw. And like the consigns, I kind of want to keep letting him have them because they kind of don't matter and they just sit in his hand. So if they're sitting in his hand, Riddler is not drawing extra card. There we go, Narset. That is exactly what we were looking for. And Narset will also not be down ticked because he has both in hand. And then Soul Cauldron on top is going to let us mill any of our artifacts or any of our creatures that would be killed by Bolt to put the counter on Spellskite. And then Spellskite can use the abilities. And double consign in hand, I mean, we are not worried about that. Double consign in hand, not double Spellskite. We have single Spellskite. Yeah, well, I guess he's gonna consign the Soul Cauldron. Might as well make him do it. Like we go. Okay, well, we'll find a creature eventually. Or an Urza Saga. Technically, we could get in for one by attacking with our Spellskite and then putting a counter on it by exiling Ragavan. Do I think that's going to come up? No, but I mean, it could happen. Yeah, would really like, honestly, wouldn't mind a Thoughtseize just to get the Lightning Bolt out of his hand, and then would be able to use the Narset. And Quantum Riddler, we now don't care about. So, I mean, the fact that Narset, like these Riddler decks, the Riddler he has in Exile would be such a huge problem if we didn't just have access to Narset. I think he is an extremely good tool against Riddler. I mean, there's things like um, Spirit of the Labyrinth. I think it being an enchantment. Well, speaking of getting rid of the lightning bolt, because Riddler not draw more than one a turn. And they're going to bolt our face. That might be a bit laggy. And we'll take a consign to memory. And then we get down to Knarset. Yeah, I'll grab another ensnaring bridge. They'll probably consign it. Which, not the end of the world. Like at this point, okay, they just let it resolve, meaning they think they're fighting us on like the Shatter Storm that they have in their deck still. That's what they're trying to get. I don't know. And they're probably going to warp a Riddler, but Narset shuts that down. Well, I did say they're going to warp a Riddler. Yeah. So Narset pretty good. Yeah, well, and they scoop it up. We are up to 2-2 with creature-based Lantern. I think every match has been at least 20 minutes, close to 30, but we were having a good time. I definitely have a lot of fun playing this version. So let's see if we can go for the 3-2 in round 5. Our fifth and final match, we are on the draw. I think too many baubles, not enough lands. Too many lands. Well, let's see if the deck can function on 5. I think we do that. Because Amber, remember we can get to bridge from Amber. Flagstones? What in I guess we take Pride and let them gain life and not make cats. Seems fine. Ephemerate Solitude, we kind of care about. Basically, we need 2 draw steps where they don't draw an answer to this Fiddlebender. I wonder if it's possible to play a version that's more all-in on Fiddlebender. So like more Skrelves. Like if you go turn 1 Skrelv into turn 2, they just didn't play anything? That seems strange. A little suspicious. Like if you went turn 1 Skrelv into turn 2 Fiddlebender, on turn 3 you could play a 0-drop into bridge. They definitely have something. You could play that 0-drop into bridge on turn 3 with protection. Oh, Felia, that's pretty good actually. Wonder what they're gonna do with this. They played the Hallowed Fountain. So they have 1 unknown. Although, if we get Ensnaring Bridge next turn, Felia, when it can attack under bridge and then consign the return trigger, really strong. When it cannot attack under bridge, far less powerful. Now, if they have a consign for this Fiddlebender returning trigger off Felia, that would not be good. Or they're just going to blink the Guide of Souls so they can fly the Felia. And if we sacrifice one of these 0-drops, we can use another 0-drop the next turn. Are they just going to blink Guide of Souls? They might. Like they're untapped Guide of Souls. I think I'm okay with that. What I don't want them to do is blink the Fiddlebender. I'm not blocking. So they have 1 mana up. Could be Ephemerate. Well, here we go. Yeah, it's fine. I was thinking I needed blue mana for some reason. But I don't. Cam. Untap. Yes. Tap for white. Sacrifice this. Untap. Yes. And what we're going to do is grab Grinding Station, because it's kind of the most expendable of our 2-drops. Like, we don't really care if it gets sacrificed. Like, if it's sacrificed, it's not a big deal. But Fiddlebender being able to go all the way up, maybe after this round I'll discuss it a bit more. But Fiddlebender, like I was thinking about Corridor Monitor, and I don't know, is there Fiddlebender plus, like with Surveillance Cam, can you Fiddlebender plus 0-drop Artifact into a win? I might have to look into that a bit. But we'll talk about it more after. Right now we'll focus on what our Azorius Blink opponent is doing here. Blue-white Blink. Well, that Consigned to Memory would be good if we were trying to cast the bridge. I will say it getting around Consign is pretty relevant. Yeah, I do think that is an advantage. And, well, we are going to see where Quantum Riddler is unfortunately going to make us struggle a lot game 1. 3 cards in hand if they have, like, Ephemerate. Yeah, they do have Ephemerate, which does only draw them 1 card. However, it keeps the Riddler around. Always yield to those. And then I will yield to that. 3 cards in hand. Is there a way we can get both Lantern and Shredder down this turn? I don't think so. Opal's actually a pretty good draw, because that lets us crack Bauble for Lantern. Solitude. Oh, we have Shredder on top anyway. Okay. Rebound, they probably draw like a Flicker, Riddler. Like I would say our odds here are pretty low. 1 target, non-basic land, its controller may search. Given that we have a Codex Shredder on top, we are not searching. And then, I mean, if they Solitude the Fiddlebender, then Emery could be a win. Because we do have Grinding Station and Cam in the graveyard. That's actually one thing that I hadn't totally considered that much, is that Fiddlebender, when you go from 0-drop to bridge, you can just put the Cam and Grinding Station into your graveyard. Yeah, that's fine. They go after the Academy Ruins, I'm assuming. This is just going to be a Stone Rain with a body. No. Do they ephemerate it, is the question. And they might. I mean, if they have ephemerate, you maybe use it on the Phantom. Now that you know it is just Stone Rain, it's they're going to evoke Solitude, pitching Ephemerate. So they could have ephemerated the Phantom, and they didn't, but bye-bye Oswald. So without Oswald, are they going to ephemerate the Solitude? Probably just better to ephemerate the Riddler, not effeminate. That's something else. Like they are going to ephemerate the Phantom. I feel like that's not even the end of the world for us. Like Opal still taps for mana of any color. And we're saying no, not because we have no basics, but because we want to draw the Codex Shredder. So next turn, if they ephemerate, well, that's kind of awkward. Next turn, if they ephemerate, we probably just say yes, go get the island. Like, I think it's actually scarier for us if they just blink the Riddler and are able to just draw a bunch of cards every turn. But yeah, here we do just want the other land. And I wonder, that's actually a better card for us. Well, they drew a Solitude. I wonder if it's correct to mill it. Probably. It's probably has more value just sitting in the graveyard. I'm not sure though. Oh, they have another. They have another one? Where did this one come from? So their two cards are Felia. They must have had it in hand already. So their two cards are Solitude Felia, and Plains. So it's Solitude Felia. They're going to play out the Felia and then draw two again. Because why not? That's not even good for us. Well, a lot of do nothing here. Maybe we could take in the Thoughtseize, but then they just evoke and then they're drawn two off the Riddler anyway. So I kind of want them, like, if they don't want a Solitude in the Excavated Wall, we can maybe just do Lantern stuff. As we are going to get pretty decent control over our own draw. The problem with Fiddlebender is it's probably good enough to Solitude Ephemerate, which then lets them draw more cards with Riddler. But Spellskite is also good enough in that respect. So we'll just play the Spellskite first. And then if they Solitude, we don't care. I mean, we care because it empties their hand for Riddler. But do kind of have to be a bit mindful on clock. We're still very close to our opponent, but similarly to every other game in this league, not going quickly at all. Witch Enchanter is exactly what we don't want them to have. Although, with Spellskite. Well, they're just going to hardcast it, so they still have a Felia in hand. Right, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. That's fine. And they are on Jeskai. I don't know what the Sacred Foundry is for. Pride and Mockingbird. Any creature on the battlefield. So that can just be a Quantum Riddler, and they have another Quantum Riddler on top of their deck. So every time they would draw a card, they can draw like 4. Uh, that's pretty good. They can also Mockingbird Solitude if we play out a Fiddlebender. Maybe we should have just milled it. Put it in the graveyard. The question is, how many Witch Enchanter effects do they have? Like in this list, how many ways of dealing with Ensnaring Bridge do they actually have? And if we can figure out a way to get a second Ensnaring Bridge on the battlefield, they're going to attack us for, yeah, a little bit of damage here, actually. Like if we can find a way to get a second bridge on the battlefield, is there anything we can do with that? Because next turn we just go Fiddlebender, Mox Opal, maybe mill a card. Again, the other thing is we're doing all this, and if we find a Soul Cauldron, we just win the game. There is that. So I feel like, there is. There's definitely like a tension of, are we playing Lantern or are we playing this like combo shell? But I think they also do complement each other somewhat well. We're in a situation like this where if we were just relying on the Lantern lock, I think we would struggle a ton. However, because we have, well, Skrelv would be good in turn. As it is, it's probably going to get milled. Just don't want any more pumping. Like in all these cats, they can get in for a pretty solid chunk. They have Mockingbird for Riddler already, but the double card draw off it, we just want to cut them off of more. Oh, that looks pretty bad. We're going to sacrifice Lantern here. The Fiddlebender can get us another one off the Opal. But pretty solid shot we die here. And our top card is a Skrelv. So they drew a Flagstones for turn. Their hand, I'm pretty sure they played this Plains. So their hand is Mockingbird and Felia. And then they're casting one of their Riddlers from Warp, or they're casting Mockingbird. They're casting Mockingbird as a Quantum Riddler, which is going to draw. Oh, which is going to exile our Oswald. Again, I honestly think this is better. Don't want Skrelv here. Like, sorry, better for me that they. Urza Saga is Lantern in a couple turns. Do we have one Soul Cauldron's gone? No. 2 Soul Cauldron are still in the deck. And so we Soul Cauldron, exile Emery, put it on the wall, and then with Opal and Cam and Grinding Station, we maybe don't have enough mana to do it all in one turn. And we did. Yep, they found it. Well, unfortunate. Can't say it's surprising. A little sad that we did spend like 17 minutes figuring that out. But the Quantum Riddlers are very difficult to beat. We saw nothing that Nito would touch. Torpor Orb is pretty good. Spellskite seems pretty good. Cookbook seems unnecessary. Reliquary might be good. Haywire might Needle, Lantern Jailer, Ashiok. Can we go down a Skrelv? It is kind of weird that I'm like, oh, I want to try out a list with more Skrelvs, but then also, can we go down a Skrelv? We might need another bridge. which, yeah, the deck list feels so tight already. I think well, it is a grindier game anyway. Narset's going to be very important. Spellscape's getting Soul Cauldron. Sure, let's cut the Ronas, and yeah, let's cut a Skrelv. Actually, maybe in this matchup, we'll do that. Do we have enough turn 1 plays? We don't need the walls. They are fine against Pride. Or not against Pride. Against Pride, they just let them gain life every turn anyway. Wonder if there's like an upgraded version of this. Like a 1/4 maybe? I'm not sure. I am going to have to look at some more cards for this list, because expect an updated version in a couple days. Yes, we would like to play. That has a lot of good cards in this matchup. So we go turn 1, do nothing. Turn 2, Urza Saga Torpor Orb or Urza Saga Fiddlebender? Maybe Urza Saga Fiddlebender, so that they can't just free attack with the Pride. But then, yeah, we'll run Fiddlebender out. Kind of an unfortunate 5th land drawing here, but we'll see what they have. They can't swing for free with it. They definitely could just remove it and then swing, and then the Pride snowball starts. If we draw 0-drop, we can go Orb 0-drop Emery, and that would be pretty good. Clock at 16 is fine, which I use that word very liberally. I mean, getting a Surveil off of Flagstones is not bad. And they bin a Consign? Because they don't think... Oh, they go after the Plaza. Okay. I mean, that does get us Island for Emery. They can't swing with the Ocelot Pride. I don't think that's the worst interaction we've ever had. Rona. See, now that is tempting. The hard part here is Fiddlebender is kind of just going to sit and do nothing. Like, or do we make constructs? So next turn, if we go Rona, next turn we go Orb, Emery, untap Rona. Yeah, actually, kind of like going for Rona here. She can also block the Phantom, which isn't nothing. They might have Ephemerate for Phantom, which would be strong. Just blowing up the Urza Saga. So maybe we waited too long on the Torpor Orb. I'm saying maybe to a lot of lines that are not happening yet, so I should maybe just see what develops. They play a Witch Enchanter on the backside, which is always a good thing to see. Rona doesn't have flying. Why did I think she had flying? I'm not sure. Grab a lantern, and then cast a Torpor Orb, see what happens.
Because we do kind of want to get 2 Rona activations this turn. They're going to consign that. Fair enough. Ooh. Rona. Draw and discard. Maybe go after the Glimmer Void. Make ourselves a little bit better to Wrath. Codex Shredder. So they're going to need a lot of consigns. Emery. Emery wasn't going to trigger with Torpor Orb. Well, Ensnaring Bridge would be good. So the problem is if we use Rona to get Ensnaring Bridge in hand, we have to discard Pixis, which I don't think is the worst thing ever. Now, if they start blinking White Orchid Phantom, I think we have to Torpor Orb next turn. Or we maybe have to chump block Felia with Oswald. Or they just scam a Riddler this turn. Yeah, that happens. So, Narset? Ooh, Teferi, eh? Good thing we didn't mill the Guide of Souls. Teferi will be milled. So then we maybe activate Rona just to put the Pixis into the graveyard. Yeah, so gonna scam the Riddler. Do we need the Fiddlebender? I think yes, because next turn it's not going to be able to attack anyway. And then I think we actually mill in response so that they can't ephemerate the Quantum Riddler. Well, they can't ephemerate it anyway now. Get rid of Teferi. They draw a Hollowed Fountain. Again, if it takes them a couple turns to empty their hand, we're doing okay. Do we have a Mana Rock in the graveyard? The answer is no, unfortunately. I think. Do we just have to play bridge here? Probably. And then just recast the bauble. And then Torpor Orb plus Shredder next turn. Spell Scout probably going into the graveyard. Actually, no, we don't. We need a Mox Opal. I was thinking, could we combo? And we need a Mox Opal or a Mox Amber for the combo, so we don't have it here. Should have used Rona. That's a mistake. Torpor Orb does say only creatures, right? Creatures entering. So let's cast a Torpor Orb. See if they have a consign for it. I mean, if they do, we just consign it next turn. See if they have a consign for this. And yeah, we don't have any way of getting a Mox Opal or a Mox Amber. But as soon as we do,
we probably die at a timing out from clicking. Well, in your upkeep, we're gonna definitely mill the wear tear. And Guide of Souls you can have. 4 cards in hand. They can attack with the guide. Or they can... They're playing something big? Do they have another Riddler? Do they have Wrath? They're gonna Wrath for 3. Which is gonna leave us basically dead. Yeah, the funny thing with this draw is, like, you don't think about it at all, but if we had a 0-drop artifact that made mana, like if we had a Mox Opal, we could have comboed like 4 turns ago. Like Fiddlebender could have gotten everything we need, which is a little crazy to think about. I think it's 3-turn clock from this Riddler. Do we go double Spellskite? Double Spellskite, then we take 4. I think it's hard for them to kill us through this. And then we start putting stuff back on top with Academy Ruins. And important, we are at an even number already, so 2 Spellskite activations is the same as Quantum Riddler swinging once. But yeah, I wonder if they know how close to... We're... Okay, maybe actually in a lot more trouble. Do they have us next turn? So they swing for 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 gets through. Yeah, we're just now we gotta draw into something. That's not anything. We're dead. Yeah, maybe we should have respected them spewing their hand more. But I think even if we don't play the Spellskites and we just play, we get Ensnaring Bridge back, we then have 2 Spellskites in hand. So we draw the Ensnaring Bridge with 4 lands and have 2 Spellskites in hand, so they're still able to attack. So I think we still lose anyway. Very unfortunate, but we'll talk about it in the wrap-up. Alright, so overall we went 2 and 3 with the deck, had some good wins, had some slow losses. I think the first thing to say is that this is probably the slowest version of Lantern I've played with, which is saying something considering it's Lantern. And I think some of that has to do with the list itself, and some of that has to do with my unfamiliarity with clicking through some of the combos present. We nearly had a turn 2 against Boros. If they don't have Lightning Bolt, I haven't gone back and looked at it, but I think, I might be wrong. If I am wrong, correct me. But I think we almost had a turn 2 against Boros. Obviously, the Emery had to live, which it didn't. The deck feels like there is something there. I don't think that this is the correct list, and I want to continue working on it, if that makes sense. Fiddlebender and Emery both do pretty powerful things. I think I want more than 2 bridge main deck, and I'm not totally certain how to fit everything. Because part of me wonders if, unfortunately, it might just be better without the Lantern stuff. It's kind of hard because a lot of our games we won just based off the Lantern lock. So just getting Lantern was enough for a lot of games. So then the question is it trying to do too many things? Which I don't know the answer to. I will be continuing to test this because it's fun. I will say I enjoy
looking for new lines and trying to figure things out. So I enjoyed playing this list a ton, which I think matters a lot, as I also try to have fun when I play. But I'm also trying not to be here for 3 hours every time I want to play a league, which this list might struggle with. But as always, if you have any suggestions on the list other than making these cards bigger, let me know. Um, let me know. Come hang out in the Lantern Discord. Tell me your suggestions for how we optimize this list a bit. It does kind of feel like a deck that would have been a Yorion list, which is kind of crazy to say because I know like 80 cards worse. Maybe we just cut to like 3 of everything. I don't I don't know what the game plan is. Sideboard, we're probably going to switch around a little bit. Yeah, overall, thought the list was really fun. Feels like there is something there, but definitely still needs a lot of work. So I'll see you in the next video where hopefully I have an upgraded version of this list, or it might be a few videos from now as I get comments from you guys. But until now, should be a video popping up here. Would be awesome if you want to check it out. It's going to be me playing some other version of Lantern. So anyways, hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next one.